Are you all aware whether any iPhones are being manufactured in India, very near Bangalore? Kolar, Narsapura industrial area. There is a company called Wistron, which is a Taiwan-based company. Taiwan-based company, and is now being taken over. The process of being taken over. Already the data engineers are working inside, understanding, training and all that. So that plant, recently when Tim Cook had come to India, he had a lot of discussions with Chandrasekhar. So the point again, coming back to, most of our Indian businesses have been family owned. But now of late, you have come across a lot of people who did not have anyone in their family in business, and they have started for the first time. And they are all called the first generation entrepreneurs. So entrepreneurship could be, entrepreneurs could be born but not made is totally a myth. And that is why you have a lot of organizations in India. EDI, for example, Entrepreneurship Development Institute, headquartered in Ahmedabad in Gujarat, is one of those institutes doing a lot of work towards producing entrepreneurs, towards training entrepreneurs, towards giving a lot of education about entrepreneurship courses, all those things they are doing. So with all these things happening in the country, today is the right time for you people to choose to become an entrepreneur rather than a corporate employee. So that is what I wanted to start off with. Now we will just go through a few slides on this topic. We can put up the slides, I think. Then only the people will be able to. But will it be a problem? No, no. It's so light. Why is it so light? Sorry, I didn't press this. I only the title of that. Yeah, you all able to see? Fine. So no need. Let's be on. So the question is, as I said, you all should become entrepreneur. So the question arises, why? Somebody should ask, why should I become an entrepreneur? There are, so many advantages of becoming an entrepreneur, but I am just listing down the three most important points. One is sense of achievement and satisfaction. Definitely, you are reaching the level of a general manager or even a managing director, definitely you will be satisfied, you will be happy, but you will be much more happier when you have started your own organization and you are recognized by the society for having done something for the society. Because another very important thing, the difference between an entrepreneur and a businessman. The business people, the first objective is profit. Entrepreneurs, profit is one of the motives. Profit is not the main objective for entrepreneurs, and that is why even in my slide I put it down below. Profit is one of the motives. Definitely you have to make profit. For business people, profit is the main motive. Now only we talk about the triple bottom line and all that, all people are woken up. Otherwise the business people, they used to say profit is a dirty word and all that. And in the olden days, the business people are supposed to be exploiting the employee, exploiting the customers and all those things. Now those things do not happen. So that is why I am saying entrepreneurs and businessmen, entrepreneur profit is one of these things. But the main motive of an entrepreneur is to find some unmet needs in the society. Find something that is not there and try to provide. In the recent past, many organizations have come in which was not there earlier. Zomato and Swiggy, for example, the food delivery. Ola, for example, for your taxi on call through the app. Or your Oyo rooms, Ritesh Agarwal, for example, connecting all the way, anywhere you want to book anything in no time you can do that. So like that, many organizations have sprung up in the recent past. Red Bus, for example, person like Padindra Sama and two of his colleagues, they wanted to go back to Andhra and they could not get a bus ticket. Imagine. And that was the time they said, why this is happening? There were seats in the buses empty. and people not getting tickets. And that was the time that we brought 3 people on one platform. The red bus, when he started online ticketing, the customers who want to book the ticket, the bus owners who have the travel, and the travel agents all on one platform. And you could easily do that. Of course, red bus later got sold to Go and all those things. That's different. So these are some of the areas where it was non-existent. So entrepreneurs are people who try to address some unmet needs of the society. So it's very important for you not to think of something other people are doing and you try to be an also ran. What do you mean by also ran? I also ran a race. What happened? I came last. But I ran. So that should not be the case. I also ran. So don't think of opening those kind of setup. And there are already a lot of people. And that is called red ocean. Red ocean, the competition is too much, cutthroat, and it's a bloody competition. That's why I call it as a red ocean. Blue ocean is you try to enter an area where nobody is there. And it will take time for people to enter. Till that time, you are the first mover, you enjoy everything. So that is what is the entrepreneurship all about. So when you do something like that, the amount of sense of satisfaction, sense of achievement, sense of being recognized by people, by the society, that happiness is something which cannot be easily quantified or measured. You only know what is the satisfaction that you got out of it. You can only experience and you can tell people, but it cannot be that easily quantified. It's something beyond all that quantification. That is sense of achievement and satisfaction. Another one is, as an entrepreneur, you are your own boss. As a corporate employee, I have to go at 9 o'clock in the morning, stay till 5 o'clock, the 9 to 5 job people call it, and every time my boss comes to my cabin, I have to stand up, I have to say good morning sir, good morning ma'am, and all that, and if they say you have to do it, I don't have a choice. I can slowly say that this may not be, but finally the boss will be. I've been telling you people know there are 2 rules in corporate. Rule number 1 in corporate is the boss is always right. Rule number 2, when in doubt, refer to rule number 1. So the boss is always right. So in a corporate, you have to say yes sir, yes ma'am. You have to keep nodding your head all the time. But here, as an entrepreneur, you are your own boss. You can order out your priorities. You can decide what is right, what is wrong, what you should do. So all those things is in your hands. So that is the second one, total freedom and empowerment in your hands. And third, of course, as I said, profit is required. Anything that I do, I want my life also to improve my quality of life. Not simply minting money and see who is that one entrepreneur, recent entrepreneur, the first generation entrepreneur from Karnataka, who continues to stay in the very old house in which he was staying, despite becoming so popular and all that. Both are humble and simple. Who is the most humble and simple entrepreneur from Karnataka? Infosys, Narayan Murthy. Narayan Murthy continued, and in a few years back also people have seen him in some of the restaurants in the morning coming for breakfast and all that. I have not seen, but I had a good occasion to meet him for a few seconds. I got my PhD from the hands of Narayan Murthy, and he was the chief guest of Karnataka University convocation. But he's such a simple and humble man. And his wife, she's too great. And the way she speaks in Sanskrit and explains a lot of Sanskrit verses. I happened to recently attend one function, the inauguration of one new university in Bangalore, Chanakya University. So I happened to go for the inauguration, where all the luminaries were present. Mohandas Pai, Sudha Murthy, then Chris Gopalakrishnan was one of the founders, 7 founders of Infosys, and many other people, very, and it was a nice evening to listen to those people. And the way Sudha Murthy speaks and quoting all Sanskrit and explaining, really great. really great. So that is the third one. Yes, you have to make money and you will have a better quality of life and good standard of living. Not that I must build a 27-story house in the heart of the metropolitan city. So that is a different way of lookout. That may be other people's lookout. That's all. Then the startup culture, as I told you, has really come to stay in India. And again, I've told you people in the class, what is the unicorn? Unicorn is a company, a startup, it reaches 1 billion USD valuation. And India is number 3 in terms of number of unicorns. And in 2022, India was number 1. Overall, all these years put together, the number of unicorns, the startups, which has reached a 1 billion USD valuation, India is number 3 after US and China, and much ahead of other countries. So, and you are in Bangalore, the best city in the country today, with respect to this. And it's called the startup capital of India. Very close to Bangalore is not one city, it is a city, 3-4 cities together, what we call as the NCR, the National Capital Region. So Delhi and Gurugram and your Noida and Faridabad, all these put together is also very close to Bangalore. But Bangalore is the number 1 city in terms of the percentage of the number of startups that happened in India in last year. Close to 35 to 40% of that all has happened in Bangalore. So startup culture is India is the land of unicorns. I told you, Bangalore is the startup capital, and now today the support is there from the government. As I told you, things are easy. See, up to 1 crore loan, the government is ready to give you without insisting on a collateral. What do you mean by collateral? Collateral means a guarantee. You have to pledge your house, vehicle, or gold, or whatever it is. Something you have to pledge to get the loan, that is the collateral, the guarantee. But government is ready to give up to 1 crore loan without insisting on a collateral, provided they find that your plan is feasible and going to be commercially, going to work and you are really going to start. Not simply on a piece of paper, you give an idea, not that. The detailed things they are convinced, they are ready to do that. And every city that is the institute, see, for the first time ever, prior to 2006 in India, we did not have a ministry separately for this. We had a ministry for industry. There was an industry minister, Ministry of Industry. Only in 2006 we had an industry called Ministry of MSME. The separate Ministry of MSME, and MSME development institutes are present all over. There is one here in Rajaji Nagar in Bangalore. Another very important, very good organization doing an excellent work in Bangalore, more for the women and also for the men, is Awake. Awake, the expansion is Association of Women Entrepreneurs of Karnataka. Lot of successful women entrepreneurs, they have put in their own money to run this NGO. Lot of successful women entrepreneurs from Karnataka, they have put in money. They are ready to support anybody, any women entrepreneur from anywhere in the country, and if at all, not too many are coming forward, they don't mind even supporting the men entrepreneurs. But it's basically for women entrepreneurs. So there are, avenues, there is a lot of support is there, both from the government, also from the NGOs and all that. It is only for you to go and find out. If you are just sitting in your home and saying it will happen, it will never happen. Nothing will happen. Even you will not get your food if you just think that I'll sit at home and somebody will come and give me food. Nothing happens. For everything you have to go out. And today's youth, I think it is very important for you. One more very important thing is not enough to do things. You have to project yourself. People should know who you are. Then only things will happen. You are just sitting in one corner and doing a good job. Nobody is going to recognize you. You have to do a good job, and you have to tell people also that you are doing a good job. So that is what is important in today's world. So youngsters are, see, unlike in our time, we people, we never wanted risk. We thought that if I don't take up a job and try to do something on my own, and if I fail, how am I going to meet my daily food and how am I going to take care of my family? But now today what has happened, majority of the households, both men and women are working, husband and wife are working. So where husband and wife are working, so there many of the youngsters are ready to take the risk. They say one of us will have a steady income, a monthly income, the other person will try to venture into something. There are many families I have come across, well-educated families, well-settled families, where either the husband or the wife, one continues with a regular salaried job and the other takes up a venture, and they have succeeded. They have succeeded. Another very famous husband and wife entrepreneur from Karnataka. Have anybody heard a serial entrepreneur? What do you mean by a serial entrepreneur? Serial entrepreneur is not your, what is her name? Jitendra's daughter, what's her name? Ekta Kapoor. Not somebody who keeps on producing serial after serial. Not that. Serial entrepreneur is the person who starts a startup, runs it for some time, and then hands it over either to professionals or family to run, and goes on to find another one and another one and another one in series. That person is called a serial entrepreneur. So there's a Karnataka-based couple who was the first time ever they did long back, quite long back, the first time ever in India it happened. They connected a student from US to a teacher in India. And for that, they had to get up in the middle of the night. They used to go to bed and get up at 2 o'clock in the morning to see whether the connectivity has happened, whether the teaching has happened or not happened. They were well off, they had all the money, but still they did all that. And they also invested a lot of money in one of the online grocery, which is later taken over by one of the big business groups. Can anyone name these entrepreneurs? Does anybody know these two entrepreneurs from Karnataka? You're all from Karnataka, you should all be proud of these people. And again, this person, I happened to coincidentally meet him in one of my old school in Delhi. I did not know. I did not know till I went only a few, 3 or 4 Sundays back in KP Nagar in that big hall in Brigade Millennium. It was a huge function for the centenary of that school. In Delhi, we had a school of the Tamilians called the DTEA, Delhi Tamil Education Association. And this person was also an alumni. And I happened to meet him there that day. He is K. Ganesh and Meena Ganesh. K. Ganesh and Meena Ganesh are one of the most celebrated serial entrepreneurs from Karnataka. And they started the Tutor Vista, where in the night, you have a student from US is learning on an individual basis from a teacher from anywhere in India and all that. Later that got sold to Pearson Education. You all know about Pearson. So that company got sold to Pearson Education. So like that, the reason why I am telling this name, you must become some of these people when you want to become an entrepreneur. It is very important for you to have a role model. These are people who become your role model, how they have done. And which is the grocery, online grocery I was referring to? Yeah, the big basket, which is now sold to the Tata Group. Not become the Tata, part of the Tata Group. So they are women, and of course Meena Ganesh was initially, she didn't join her husband. She was working in this, one of the largest retailer in UK, Tesco. So Tesco has set up a center here in India, not for the retail, for all the back-end operations. So she was the one who set up that, and she was the in charge of that, managing director or whatever designation was. She was working there. When she was that post, I happened to meet her long back. Meet her means just a few seconds. She had come for a function and all that. And then later she joined her husband, and they are the couple known for all this, entrepreneurship in Karnataka. To a great extent, they have done work. So youngsters now, as I said, today the youngsters are definitely ready to take more risk compared to the people in the earlier generation. And need to boost economy of the country, obviously. With all this, only the GDP will go up. Because the GDP goes up how? Both the demand and the supply has to be there. The demand and supply, simple. So now what has happened? New innovation, new services, new products are coming up, and there are people who are ready to buy and consume that. The demand is also there, the supply is also there, the GDP, the economy automatically goes up. And that is how India became the fourth largest economy in the world, overtaking UK some time back. They were in fifth position, they came to the fourth position. So this is about the startup culture. Now let's understand today's concept, what we are talking about. See, when you want to become an entrepreneur, there are 2-3 things you have to do. One is what is called as an elevator pitch. Does anybody know what is an elevator pitch? What is elevator and what is pitch? At least tell me that. What is elevator and what is pitch? Yeah.
Basic information about the founder and who is founding the company.
Okay, good. Anybody else? What is elevator and what is pitch? Unfortunately, your elevator is not working. What is elevator? What is pitch? See, elevator, as you all know, for you to go from one floor to the highest floor. Pitch is something that an impression that you are able to make, information that you are able to give, not only about the founder, you were telling, information about your entire venture in a very short period of time. By the time you go from the first floor to the 15th floor, it takes about a minute and a half, or 2 minutes. So within that period, if you happen to meet an investor, and you exchange, and you are able to impress about your venture, the investor automatically takes out the visiting card and tells you, can you kindly come and meet me at such and such a place and all that. Your job is done. So elevator pitch is your ability to pitch about your venture in a very, very short period of time to investor or to anybody who matters, who will be able to connect you to the investor. Need not necessarily the investor, somebody can connect you to the investor. So that is elevator pitch. So that is one thing you have to practice. Practice in the sense, you have to tell everything about your venture within 2 or 3 minutes. If you start saying that I am so and so, I did my MBA from Adarsh College and I am thinking of starting. By the time the elevator has reached the 15th floor, the person is out and you are out. And that is not elevator pitch. That's not elevator pitch. So you need not worry about your name and all that can be done later. What exactly you want to do and how is it going to help? The main thing in elevator pitch, or business canvas, everywhere, the first and foremost thing is, what is it that you are doing which is going to benefit the society, benefit the people? So that is what is the first thing that is coming out of everything. So first is an elevator pitch. Second is you have to make a B plan, business plan. What is the difference between a B plan and plan B? Both are same. B plan is a business plan. Plan B is an alternative. So when you make a plan and it doesn't work, you don't have to start all over again. You already have the second best ready with you for you to make the changes where required. So you must be in a position to make a business plan where again the business plan, every activity, everywhere, I told you people in the class, everything starts with marketing. Among all the functions in any organization, I always rate marketing as the most important function. For the simple reason, they are the people who get the business for the organization, and they are the people who find whether the customers are happy or not happy, what to do. So you have to have a marketing plan, you have to have a financial plan, you have an operations plan, you have an organization plan, you have a technology plan. All these plans together, everything and your visual mission, everything put together, that becomes your B plan. So business plan, elevator pitch and business plan. The third thing is your business model canvas. So this you please listen very carefully. Uma ma'am has already told you. At the end of this, we are going to break into groups. You will be given the chart paper. You will have the format from here. You will come to know, and you should have already thought about something, or take a few minutes to think about your venture. And you have to work in a team, a group. The business model canvas has 9 components. So those components you can split it among yourself, think, and then discuss and agree together and put it on the canvas. That is the chart paper, we call it as the canvas. And you can use colors and all that to make it attractive. And at the end, you have to come here and make a presentation. All that will be recorded. Everything is going to be there. So the best presentation, Uma ma'am will definitely be the judge or other faculty member. They will tell you who has done the best, the months. So best is not only in terms of putting on the chart, starting with your idea and how you are presenting it on the paper. So please listen now. Of course you have been listening carefully, but continue to listen more carefully, because this is the one that we are talking today, the business model canvas. The boy there, hello. Yeah, you only. People understand that they know one fellow for the last 5 minutes is doing something. When I am saying, then he could understand it to me only. Then he is lifting his head. Please listen, it will be useful. Okay? So what is business model canvas? It is a tool. It's a kind of a tool, simple tool or a technique to understand that in the model in a very structured fashion. Not in bits and pieces, but you understand the total model in a whole structured fashion. Visual overview of the entire business on a single canvas. Why they take canvas? They not give it on chart paper. In the early days they used to do it on that kind of a cloth sheet, and they used to paint it on that and all that. So that is why they also called it as the canvas. All that it means is in one place, one sheet, one big thing you are putting everything together. Virtual overview of the entire business and high level analysis of business. Here we are not in the business plan, we are going into great detail. Here in the business model canvas, we are not going into the minutest detail. We are trying to understand the business in an overall fashion. So that is the difference between the two. As our friend Kirtana told, I don't know how many of you heard, how many of you registered. She took the name of this person. So it was created by this person initially, right in the beginning, and so it is credited to him. Can also use for analyzing competitor model. So the same canvas for you to make improvements. Whenever you want to make improvements in your business, you can try to paint the competitor business model and then sitting and understanding that, and from there you can decide what would you like to benchmark in your organization. So you can use it also for analyzing the competitor model, insights about customers, the customer value proposition, channels, everything will come into that. So the 9 components of the business model canvas. First and foremost, to start with the customer segments. There are value proposition for the customer. In the sense, what kind of an unmet need that your venture is going to meet. So how do you give the proposition to the customer? How do you define what you are going to provide? And revenue streams. How are you going to generate revenue? How are you going to get? So there are different kinds of revenue generation. Like some of these online sites, they say pay per use or click per use and all that. So different ways how are you going to generate. Or many of the others, they thrive more on advertisements and not on the actual thing. So like that, overall, how are you going to keep your organization running? How do you generate the revenue? The channels. How are you going to reach the customers? That is your challenge. Then customer relationships. How are you going to maintain long-term relationship with the customer? Through your branding activity, through the social media, to various other ways. There are hundreds of ways people have been doing it. Customer relationships, key activities. What are the important activities in your organization? Like starting with the design function, your manufacturing or your service or your distribution or whatever it is. What are the key activities that you have? Key resources that you are going to use. Resources, again, we talk about generally in operation, we talk about the 8 M's of the resources. Men, machines, material, money, management, method, market, and mother earth and all that. So what are the various resources that you are going to concentrate on for your particular setup? Key resources, key partners. Today we talk about that as an organization, we are not working in isolation. We are dependent on a lot of people. So mainly the two people, every organization is dependent upon 2 or 3 people, you can say. One are the suppliers. Because we can't do everything by ourselves. We depend, we get certain things from the supplier. And we cannot go to each customer and sell our product. So we depend on a lot of distributors, the retailers, the wholesalers. And the third most important thing, mainly for products, is the logistics service providers. So they are all called your partners. So who are all your partners for your organization? You need to decide. And the cost structure. You should have some idea of the cost structure. How much is going to cost and how much are you going to have your margin or distribution, everything. Some rough idea about the cost structure. Then only you are in a position to decide a price for your item. 3 important areas of this. One is desirability, viability and feasibility. So desirability, that's what I said. So what is your basic, the area that you are entering into, which is meeting some kind of unmet needs of the customer, that is part of the desirability. The second is your viability is whether it is practically viable, is it a viable proposition? I want to do something, but commercially it may not be viable. So viability is also important, that I might want to do something, like these people, Elon Musk and other people, they and Jeff Bezos and Richard Branson, these are the 3 people who are trying to take people to the space journey and all. So their thinking is different. It may not be viable, it costs so much. Although they are charging those people some thousands of all that, still it will be viable, but then it is their hobby, it is something that they want to do, whatever it is. So that all that you have to see in the beginning. The viability and the practical feasibility of your whole idea, whole venture. So this is basically the format. If you go through the internet, there will be some variations here and there in terms of where they place this component. But the components are same. The components are not different. But I have put it in the way because everything starts with your customer segment. You have to identify who are your customers. I'll tell you, for example, a lady in Delhi, she became, again, another thing about entrepreneurship. It says, entrepreneurship knows no age, gender, region or religion. Entrepreneurship knows no age, gender, region or religion. Meaning, young people can become, old people can become. Males can become, females can become. Region, any Karnataka or any part of the country, any religion, whether a Hindu or a Muslim or anybody, anyone can become an entrepreneur. So entrepreneurship knows no age, no religion or region or gender. A lady from Delhi, she never had an idea, and once she settled her family, when her children had grown up, and she thought instead of wasting her time on gossip and other things, she thought let me do something different, and she became an entrepreneur, a homemaker at age 40 or something. And she was very, very clear in her initial thing that she was coming forward with some fashion garment for the younger females and for the affordable middle class kind of people and all that. Her name is Meena Bindra, and the brand that I'm talking about is Biba. So that was long back that she started into the instant success at that particular time. So like that, Like when you are talking about the customer segment, you should be very clear. Are you targeting the younger people, the middle age, or the older people? Are you targeting men or women? Are you targeting the homemakers or office goers? Like that, you have to think so many things, and you should be very clear who are the people you are trying to target. So the first thing to start with the customer segment. CVP, we just told you, is the customer value proposition. So customer should know what value is being created for the customer. Unless the customer is clear what value is getting generated, and the customer value, as we know, is customer benefit divided by customer cost. So what is the benefit the customer is getting to what the customer is paying? So that is how none of us sitting here will ever say any product we buy, we don't go and tell the shopkeeper, give me the cheapest product. You look at various varieties and you mentally compare that ratio of what benefit features I'm getting and what am I paying. Based on that, the product which you feel is the best, then you select that. So nobody goes for the cheapest product or anything like that. So customer value proposition, the customer should be clear what value or benefit I'm getting to what am I giving, what am I paying for. That is CVP, customer value proposition. Customer relationships, how are you going to maintain, retain the customer for long term, or you will maintain the relationships, key activities also be discussed, resources, partners, how do you reach the customer through what kind of channels, and the cost structure and the revenue streams. All these are again briefly explained here. The first one, the customer segment, for whom value being created. So in terms of age, in terms of social class, in terms of gender, in terms of anything. So who are the people for whom I am creating value through my particular startup? How the product solves the customer pain point. This is what is very important. As I told you, as an entrepreneur, you are trying to find what is bothering the customer today. Pain point is when the customer is not getting or getting but not very happy. There are problems. So what are those kinds of products or services where the people are finding a lot of problems? That is the pain point. So try to identify the customer pain point. That is the second thing. And how reaching the customer, the channels, whether you are going to have direct thing. As you all know, Dell, when they initially started, they were the first one to start direct marketing. Initially, they went to the customers themselves, took the order, took some advance, and assembled the computer and gave it back to them on a particular day. So direct marketing, when you talk, immediately people think about Dell. So whether you are going to go direct to the customer, online or through social media, or whatever way it is, then how to maintain the relationship, either individual. There are, see in the banks what happened. In the bank, there is always a person called a relationship manager. The relationship manager identifies the key accounts. What do you mean by key accounts? The people who have invested a lot of money. They are the key accounts. So the relationship manager once in a while talks to the people, find out any problem, any issue. They want to maintain the relationship. So like that, how they are going to maintain the relationship? Through the salesperson or your branding or some kind of an emotional attachment to the product or service. Then what are the resources needed to deliver the value proposition? Once you decide the value proposition, what do you require in order to meet? The kind of infrastructure, any kind of your machinery, equipment, space, land, whatever is required, all that. And supply chain and human resources. Then activities need to be strong to deliver the value proposition. In some cases, the design is going to matter much. So for example, Apple iPhone we were talking about a little while ago. These people like Wistron or Foxconn, they get only about $200 or $300 or $400 per phone for manufacturing the phone. But the idea, the design is all that of Apple. So it all depends. See, much before, I don't know how many of you are aware, WhatsApp only you all know. Much before WhatsApp came in, people could see the other person face to face and talk. That was only through the Apple phone. Only the Apple iPhone, they had their own server and people could see the other person and all. Later came your WhatsApp and you can see the other person and all that. So the design is going to be your major thing, or your manufacturing or distribution, partners to whom you are going to associate, for leveraging the business model, the logistics service providers, the retailers, all that we discussed. There are important costs associated with the model. What are those fixed costs? What are the variable costs? And how do you try and get back the fixed cost? How do you distribute and how do you manage to recover it fast? And how the revenue capture from the customer. There are many items like, I don't know how many of you know, in strategic management, we talk about one strategy called the razor blade strategy. Is anyone aware what is razor blade strategy? The Gillette they were the first to talk about it. They give the shaving razor at a much cheaper price, whereas the cartridges at a much costlier price. And then HP followed later. HP printers are not that difficult to buy, but the cartridges for printing every time, that is very costly. That is called the razor blade strategy, where the equipment are priced cheaper, the accessories to use with them are costlier. Like all these automobiles, the automobiles manufacturers, every car they are not making much money. They are making, but not so much money. They are clear the money that they make is in the spare parts. Once you give your car for servicing and repair and all that, the bare minimum easiest of the thing is anywhere in the four figures, 10,000, 12,000. That's the minimum. But otherwise it will go up to 40, 50, 60,000. Any this to be changed, that to be changed, all those kind of a things. So accessories are how do you make the revenue stream. Now the suggested area, this is the last slide before we get into the workshop mode for you to do the actual thing. What we will do, ma'am, after this, you will give them a break for 10 minutes or something, or how do you go about it? We'll start. Organize and we'll start. So after about 10 minutes, we'll start the exercise of building this business model canvas in groups and work in a team. Let that not be a social loafer. Again, I've been teaching you OB, I've told you who is a social loafer. The person who is part of the group and not part of the group. Part of the group on paper, but physically not part of the group. Don't do that. Please contribute, you will enjoy and do that, and it doesn't matter. We can always improve upon it later. Now, coming to the suggested areas, see, there is one industry, rather there are two industries, I'll keep the other one aside, but there are two industries, whether a pandemic or any problem, anywhere, you will not see much of a recession in at least two industries. One is the healthcare, other one is the food sector. Education also you can add, but food sector. So now the point I am suggesting here is, people who do not want to invest much money, you want to start something but not want to invest money, the best is your food sector. You can make, and in the rural area, people do not buy Sundrop or a particular branded oil. They just buy cooking oil. And manufacturing that oil, there are machineries now available at a much cheaper price to convert the mustard or whatever into oil. It is easier. So you can enter into that business because oil is something which is required, it's going to be required. Or the other food sector is your soap. It is again a must for everybody. So demand will never go down. And again, all this oil or soap, either you sell an unbranded stuff or you tie up with the branded people, you supply to them and they put their brand and supply. So it's a win-win for them as well as for you. So food sector like oil, soap, pickles and your chips, papads, these are all some of the things. You know that this also I've told you people earlier, 9 ladies in Maharashtra, they just started in a very small way doing something in their house, in a rural area, in their outside veranda. And today that item is sold in more than 100 countries in Walmart stores. That is Lijjat Papad. Lijjat Papad started by 9 ladies. Later another lady joined them. And she brought it to that level. Her name is Jyoti Naik. Jyoti Naik joined those people and then brought that to that level. Now the Lijjat Papad is so popular all over. So like that, food industry definitely, you can venture into that in a small way. without much of investment. Apart from that, there are a few I've just put here. One is the recycling of e-waste. So this is still not happening in a big way. There is a lot of waste of your computers, laptops, radios, televisions. All these are being dumped in places they just keep lying. So problem is people do not know how to disassemble or dismantle it. You can get this scrap and dismantle it, and then you will have the plastic separate, the steel separate, or any copper or anything. All that once they are separated, you can easily dispose it off. So recycling of e-waste is one good proposition. Then your transportation through solar energy. Now the transportation, the electric energy is being talked about in a big way, and that is why I put the charging of the electric vehicles down below. Charging station for electric vehicles is another area that you can think about, and transportation through solar energy. Then your NGO, any kind of an NGO, somebody interested in social thing, so NGO for creating social awareness, and recycling of plastics. Plastics also, people throw it away. And again, plastic, people do not know, they think all plastics are useless. No, it is only the thin plastic bags. They are not biodegradable, they are not recyclable. All the other plastics are recyclable. You have to just break them, and you have to grind them, and you have to extrude them and make small granules. And those granules can be again used for the plastic injection molding. Not many people are doing it. There are people doing it, but not too many. So you can collect all the plastic scrap and convert it. All that you have to buy is an extruder and one grinder for grinding the thing to small pieces and all. So this is all that I wanted to talk. So now let's paint the business model. So this is where we are going to start. And before we start, any questions? Anything you want to clarify? Otherwise, we go back to the previous slide and start our activity. I think 1 hour is more than enough.
Yes.
11:45. So by about 12:30, 12:30, people should be ready with the presentations. People should come forward with the presentation. Before that, any questions? Anybody? Fine? Everything is clear? Thank you. Thank you all for your patient hearing and
we will get some waste from the BBMP, and also as I said in the workshop, we can use plastic into different products. So we will collect some plastic products and we will convert it into pots and containers for growing crops. This type of things we will include in the production center.
only one question. How soon do you think you will start making money for yourself?
Definitely, sir. Usually, in organic farming, it will take time. The main intention is we have to create awareness. We have to increase our more production for our economic growth in our country. So that's the reason we have to take care about the health conditions also nowadays, because some of the crops are mainly depend upon the chemicals. So we have to reduce the chemicals. We have to convert it into organic farming. So it will take time. But in future, definitely we get the profits by doing this.
That's one of the practical things that we're talking about in today's context. And especially the youth thinking, I don't know whether you will do it or don't do it, is the next step. But the thought process that you want to go to the rural area, that itself is a good thought process and very good. Well done. Which team is coming next? Sanjay, Pooja. Come. Don't worry.
Is the next year? Investment.
Total cost around 8
We made an estimation.
estimation, sir, for charges compliant,
What is the
total cost especially for performing the algorithms of
how much seed funding?
What is the first argument? That you have to explain.
I have
What are the things that you have to
Yeah, second group to start.
Good afternoon, Nandal. We are explaining about our topic. We have selected to recycle the papers and to make useful products out of it, like using waste papers and producing cups and plates and paper bags. Because paper is degradable, but while producing while manufacturing paper, it will take a lot of effort, and also it will cause some harm to.
This is all of your partners, right?
Yes.
Can we hear from the other partners also?
Yes.
Right. Can I hear from the gentleman now? So you see, any model, whether it's entrepreneurship or anything, inclusion is very important. That is a sustainable model. It is not that one partner, right, grows up and others are not growing up properly. Can I hear it from other team members too? So what is this model all about, and how you're going to recycle the paper? And yes, gentlemen, hand over the mic. See, this is what I always tell that, see, when it comes to your own right upliftment, you need to be selfish. Always don't allow that okay, somebody will grow and we can piggyback on that. Either entrepreneurship or anything. Yes, can I hear it from you? Give a try, give a try. Same thing happened in the interview also.
Good afternoon. We are collecting the newspapers. We are recycle and the newspaper we are producing the like paper cups and paper plates. Nowadays we are plastic ban. We can use in this newspaper for paper cups and paper bag.
The business model canvas that you have charted out, can you explain that with reference to your business idea?
Any one component that you have put in there?
Okay, can I? Yes, the model here is very simple. Those are not interested, please don't stay and disturb. If you are so inquisitive and if you are so keen that you want to interact, or if you are feeling hungry, the door is open. Please don't compel yourself and don't sit back. Have some decorum. Okay, can you please explain to us in terms of what is your plan?
Sir, this is an eco-friendly project.
Okay.
We are collaborated the NGOs
You have collaborated with
NGOs
Okay.
for circulation of the paper bags, cups to the street vendors and customers. Sir, for promotion we will use the brand ambassadors.
What is the plan in terms of who's the brand ambassador you're going to use for this?
Sir, Akshay Kumar.
Huh?
Akshay.
Why? What is the reason to choose Akshay Kumar as a
Sir, he has done lot of many things in social activities.
Okay.
So,
What is the cost involved in bringing Akshay Kumar to this project? He will not come at free of cost, right? So you are just developing project, so you got to take into consideration the cost. What is the investment, gentlemen? What is the investment for your model? What is the total cost involved in your project? What is the investment? No, I don't want the breakup. What is the total investment? What is the total cost involved or cost structure of this canvas model?
Approximately 10